Hi there, good afternoon to everybody, and welcome to the third video tutorial for the plugins project by Quadnix. This tutorial extends on the previous Hello World with a Node.js backend tutorial where we released a simple Node application to the web. Now, in this tutorial, we want to set up a MongoDB database to our Hello World project so that our backend can save and retrieve data from it. But first, let's start with a little bit of introduction with the plugins project. A website can have complex requirements, like you might need a Node.js backend or a database. Setting these components individually takes a lot of effort, and still issues arise all the time. Think about setting up health checks, logs, data backup strategies, and so much more. Plugins is a production-ready platform with all these complex components already built in, and many more. In short, Plugins is a smart platform that makes it easy to deploy your web application on the internet without having to manage your own infrastructure. So now before we begin with this demo, let us recap what we have done so far. We have hosted this website in our last tutorial. And as you see here, we are fetching a funny tagline from our backend every time we come to this tile. Now, we will simply add all of these tiles to a database and have our backend fetch a funny tag at random from database. To begin, the very first step is to open our README for this tutorial. Links are in the description below. In order for our backend to call our database, we first need to deploy our MongoDB database in plugins. To keep this tutorial simple, we have already written a simple MongoDB database repository that you can download and use. On your right, as you can see, I have downloaded it in my demo folder. We unzip the archive and you can see the contents of .quadnix/build.yaml configuration file. This configuration file is very important as it instructs plugin on how to build your application. In this case, we simply want to seed our empty database with some data listed in the leads create.json file. Let's take a peek there too. As you can see, it's a simple collection with 3 messages. Now, from the previous tutorials, you should already have an account and the plugin created. We will edit the plugin by adding a new server. Let's upload the zip file that you downloaded in step 1. We can use the appropriate server type and set the name and version tag for our server. Your code should now build. All the steps that you mentioned in your build.yaml configuration file will execute and the output will be shown here. It may take a few seconds to back up the final binaries, so please be patient. The success text indicates that our build is a success. At this point, our MongoDB database is up and running along with our frontend and our backend server. But we are not done yet. We have to remember that currently our backend code still has hard-coded data. We need to update our backend code to call the database. For that, now we go to step 3 and download our previous Hello World with Node.js backend demo application. For your convenience, we have already updated this repository to support database, so you don't have to write any code. Moving on to step 4, we come back to our plugins dashboard, and try to update the backend server. We expand the backend server and upload our zip file. Now our backend code will build again. After the code is finally built, it is time to test our plugin once again. When we go to the More Advices tab now, we can see that a random funny tagline is being fetched from our database server. We should do this enough times to make sure we see all random messages. Wow! In just a few steps, we now have connected our backend to a MongoDB database. But let's go one step further. How do we really know that the data is coming from our database, right? Because previously also our backend was returning the same 3 funny taglines as it is returning now. For that, let's now try to update our database by adding a few more funny tags. To do this, we must first edit our database repository. We will edit the build.yaml configuration file to now import the leads update file. Then we will zip the new code, which is the whole directory in this case. Next, we try to rebuild the database with our new code. Oh, and while our database is building, let me quickly show you what we are adding. We are just inserting 2 new messages to our database. Now that the database is built, let's test our application one more time. Going to More Advices should now also show us the new messages. And hey, here they are. That's it, folks. In just a few clicks, we added a database server to our web application. Behind the scenes, Plugins deployed our 3 servers in its infrastructure, and from here on we'll also monitor and maintain them. This is what Plugins is all about, to fully automate the infrastructure and to keep you, the developer, isolated from it so that you can focus more on delivery. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and we'll be back for more. Plugins is being constantly improved and we need your support to do it. If you can, please spread the word. And if you want to request any more features, please reach out to us. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope I see you next time. Thank you.